We've been working our way through the first 11 chapters of Genesis, oftentimes referred to as universal history, doing so with the goal of answering the context or framing the context of our lives. Who am I? Where did I come from? What's expected of me? All of that. I've been stressing throughout this, I always am stressing, that the Bible is more than just a collection of morality lessons and inspirational tales and advice about how to live a good life. It's got some of that in there, but it is fundamentally the story that's telling us about God's overarching plan, his plan to rescue us. What Jesus teaches is incredibly important, but in one sense, it is secondary to who Jesus is and what he does, his life and his death. So some people don't understand this because they lack the big picture. They know chapters and verses out of the Bible, and they've got some stories that they can recite, but it's sort of like knowing a lot about some pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, but not knowing what the big picture on the front of the box looks like. Some people know what the big picture looks like, but they don't know all of it. They don't understand why they're looking at this picture. They sort of, I sometimes complain that people only read the New Testament, or they only show up at church for the birth of Jesus, or for Christmas or for Easter, but they don't understand why Jesus is dying. They don't understand why he was born. It's sort of like showing up for the last few minutes of an action movie. You might get caught up in the last car chase. You might get caught up in some of the last shootouts. You might get caught up in some of the excitement of the movie, but you don't really understand the context out of which it's happening. So the context out of which everything is happening is this explanation of the bad news that we got in. And so I have been summarizing the setup here. I've been handling the first 11 chapters in sort of 5 big segments. So the first segments, chapters 1 and 2, tell us about the creation of everything everywhere, spoken into existence by an all-powerful personal God who creates us in his image and commissions us to rule over his creation. The second section, which picks up in Genesis chapter 3, talks about the rebellion and the fall, the curse. It includes the good news, the promise that God is going to fix things, but it sets the stage for why everything is broken and so difficult. The third section starts with Genesis chapter 4. This is where we get Cain and Abel. We'll also get Seth, but what we basically get is a confirmation that the fall was devastating. Everything is truly and tragically broken. It's all going to depend upon the fulfillment of God's promise. He's going to have to send a rescuer, and so we do have sort of the second line there that comes out of Seth. The fourth section then is what we've been handling over the last few weeks, and that talks about sort of resetting the stage, Noah, and it's not that it's a complete reset because sin continues, and we saw that coming out of the back part of the flood. But there's a sense in which the trajectory of evil is set backwards and restaged. So what we're going to get now in the last part of this is going to be a sort of repositioning for what's going to come next. Genesis chapter 9, we're going to see that our assignment is modified. So we first of all get the cultural mandate. We get our assignment, go forth and multiply, rule over the earth. But that was when the earth was perfect. Now things are going to be a little bit adjusted because we're not living in that perfect world. So at the risk of being a little Johnny One Note, I will say it again, that we have to understand the context out of which the rest of the Bible flows. So Genesis 1 through 11 is the universal history out of which the Genesis 12 and following story flows. Have a good day.